Welcome to the audio of the non-religious spirituality book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, a modern-day parable about practical spirituality. Chapter 18, Meditation. Travis drank his apple juice and Rishi sat quietly, almost meditatively. Travis looked at Rishi.
Can you teach me meditation?
Of course, is the best gift I can ever share. And let me give credit where it's due. The ancient Indian sages discovered meditation thousands of years ago. It's their biggest gift to humanity. I sincerely thank them for this gift.
I thank them too. Okay, so I know the part about sitting down, folded legs with your back erect and closing your eyes.
You can be comfortable. There isn't a need to be stiff. I use a pillow behind my back many times.
Do I have to fold my legs?
I like to fold my legs, but you can sit in a chair. I like sitting on the bed or the carpet. Something comfortable. I simply put one leg over the other, not the difficult cross-legged lotus pose.
What about your hands?
Most of the time, I find my fingers are interlocked or slightly overlaying each other. I don't worry much about the pose. I like to be comfortable.
Got it. So how do we control the mind?
That's the trick. You don't. Wait. Before we go on, I need to say this. There are many aids and techniques, meditative music, reciting mantras, focusing on certain objects, breathing exercises, and hand mudras or gestures. You can choose what you like. The technique I use is basic. It doesn't use any aids. I don't even recite a mantra.
Don't people say Om when meditating?
I recite Om when I pray or when I want to calm down. But not during meditation. When I meditate, I sit down and just let things happen.
Rishi, why do people say Om?
Om is the primordial sound according to the ancient Indian sages. It represents the essence of the entire universe. It has numerous meanings.
Like what?
First, Om represents the states of the mind. The waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. And it represents the fourth state, which is pure stillness, or the meditative state. I also call it the soul state. If you will, the soul state is the substratum, the foundation, or the envelope in which the other states exist.
So that's why they chant Om when meditating?
Yes, there is another angle too. When you say Om, you generate vibrations in your body. Om is made up of three sounds: A, U, Ma, and there is a fourth element. When you say A, it generates vibrations in your stomach. U generates vibrations in your throat. And or Ma generates vibrations in your head. As you recite Om, the vibrations travel from your stomach to your throat and to your head. What is happening is you're channeling your energy upwards when you recite Om.
What is the fourth element?
The fourth element. This is the most important element. The fourth element is silence. The wave of energy reaches the top and connects with the silent infinite. All the sounds of ah, ooh, and exist on the foundation of silence. Silence is always present. Any sound you hear is silence plus that sound.
Travis smiled a little in admiration of the point.
Red colored water is red color plus water. Green water is nothing but green color plus water. Colorless water is always present. Silence and the soul state are the colorless water. They're not seen or heard, but they're always present.
Travis put his hands on his chest.
Your explanation is awesome. So why don't you say Om?
Rishi smiled.
I do say Om when I am praying, but not so much when I am meditating. Maybe I should. But, at some point, when you enter deep meditation, your recitations have to stop. As long as you are reciting and focusing on the recitation, your mind is still active. Om recitation is powerful, is very powerful in calming the mind. But at some point, you have to leave everything, including all recitations, behind.
Hey, can I chant Om or a mantra?
Yes, sure, of course. For many people, chanting a mantra or reciting their God's name can have a powerful effect. It's like using an exercise machine. I prefer exercises which only use my body weight.
Yeah, because you're the keep it simple, keep it natural guy.
Yeah, but we're all different and that's okay. You can choose what works for you. You can chant your wife's name if you like.
Are you kidding me? That's not going to calm me down.
Well, wait till I tell her. My point is, chant whatever appeals to you, whatever calms your mind down.
Okay, I will. I think I need an aid, though.
Use any technique you find useful. I've been meditating for years and never used any aids. I don't want to use a crutch or training wheels because ultimately you have to let them go. It may take me longer, but I want my mind to calm down naturally. I don't try to control it.
Okay, doesn't your mind run around, though?
It does, but to me that's okay. Sometimes my mind runs around for the entire time I sit in meditation. What that means is my mind had so many thoughts it needed to process. And I let it do that. I don't short circuit it. I like to let my mind process and clean up everything it has going on. When it's done, it becomes calm. I just simply wait for it. That's my simple meditation technique. The mind will ultimately calm itself down.
Oh, so like a little puppy. The puppy's energetic. You let it run around and use up all of its energy. Then it'll automatically come sit at your feet.
Exactly right. If we constrain the puppy before he's exhausted his energy, he'll still be anxious and very difficult to control. But once the puppy has had enough time to run around, he will automatically become docile. The mind is exactly the same.
So just let the mind be.
Travis looked at the sky and felt the gentle breeze caress his face. Rishi floated his hand.
Meditation is like floating.
How so?
We cannot say, I am floating. That's nonsensical.
Why is that?
What we can say is, I am doing nothing. I am lying relaxed in the water, and floating is happening naturally.
Okay, I think I'm with you.
It's the same with meditation. You can say, my mind is doing nothing, and meditation is happening naturally. You just have to practice doing nothing. That is all your job is. You just do nothing and let the mind calm down. Meditation is not something you do. Meditation is something that happens to you.
Man, I've tried to meditate before. I sit down, but my mind doesn't calm down. It keeps thinking all kinds of things. Then either I'm out of time or I get restless enough to stop.
Remember this, you must meditate without expectations. Do not judge your progress or the lack of progress. Don't look for results. Don't tell yourself, oh, I feel calmer than yesterday or I feel calmer than last week. Stop the focus on the outcome. Focus on the effort. If you sit down for meditation and your mind does not calm down, don't despair, don't lament it. In fact, don't give it any thought. The next day, sit down again and meditate. And you know what? Let it take 10 years if it has to. One day, your mind will slow down. So just do it.
Kind of like jogging? Just gotta do it?
Yeah, just keep doing it. Unbeknownst to you, every time you meditate, regardless of the quality of the session at the surface, your subconscious is changing. Your mind might tell you, I'm not making progress, meditation isn't making any difference, I still feel miserable. But don't let that stop you. What your conscious mind thinks has little impact on your spiritual progress. Every time you meditate, it leaves an impression deep down. Don't think, just meditate.
Travis smiled.
Okay. Maybe it'll grow on me.
Rishi touched his thumb and index finger.
Sometimes my meditation is so good, my consternation stops, and I experience complete stillness. Most of the time, the meditation session doesn't go all the way. But so what? When I'm dealing with the material world, I'm almost at boiling point. If I can take down my temperature even a few degrees, I've made great progress. And most importantly, I feel instant relief.
Well, that makes sense.
Of course, whether you're able to cool down depends on how much latent heat you have accumulated. Every day we engage with the world, we add more latent energy. That's why we must be careful with addictions. They raise our temperature the most.
Got it.
Rishi was about to speak, and then Travis said,
What if sitting down gets boring?
Yeah, of course, sitting down can be boring. But if you make it a habit, it will become easier.
If I make it a habit, then what?
Then your mind will begin to calm down. Sometimes towards the end of the session, sometimes during the session, before the mind runs around more. But eventually, the mind will learn to quiet down and it will become calm.
Well, then what happened?
Then you will see God.
Excuse me?
Rishi raised his palms to pacify Travis.
Okay, all right. When the mind is quiet, you will become the observer. You will become aware of the gaps between your thoughts. You will become aware of the silence, the sweet silence that exists between the thoughts and behind the mind.
Is that the soul? Is that the nirvana?
No, nirvana takes longer. As you experience silence, greater happiness and peace will fill you. Your mind won't be as agitated. The next time you meditate, your mind will calm down faster. This cycle will feed on itself if you remain consistent.
But what if I break the cycle?
It's no different than going to the gym. If you take a break, you have to work back up. The longer the break, the longer it takes to get back to the previous levels.
But are there any benefits from previous efforts?
Yes, of course, it helps. The residue or remnants are always there. So it's not as hard as the very first time you started. But the duration of the break does have an impact.
Do some people naturally make faster progress than others?
I better be careful.
What do you mean?
When you compare your meditation effort with others, you undermine your progress. Meditation is not a worldly pursuit. You don't ever want to compare notes on your progress because eventually you will entertain thoughts about either how well you're doing or not. Either of those thoughts will ruin your ability to meditate. Don't share, don't compare. Don't compete with others. Don't compete with yourself. Just meditate.
Okay, I won't compete.
Having said that, I need to say this. Every person is different. Some will make faster progress than others, and that is because it has to do with many factors. The best thing to do is not think about it. Just sit down for meditation with yourself and don't bring anyone else into your meditation.
So it's a solo activity.
Yes, keep your mind free of other people. It's ironic.
What do you mean ironic?
Being lonely is horrible, but being alone is wonderful. We need to learn to be alone and learn to cherish our own selves.
Don't be lonely, be alone.
Yes, you have to let go. Don't hold on to your thoughts. Watch them like an observer, like a kid standing at the edge of the park and watching all the proceedings. You just watch.
Okay.
And then surrender yourself.
Surrender?
Yes. Stop thinking about Travis. Let Travis dissolve. In fact, a better word than surrender is sublimate.
Sublimate is to, you told me before.
Yes. Sublimate is to become nobler. Actually, purer is a better description. It's dissolving like sugar dissolves in water and becomes one with water. Your mind sublimates to become one with your soul, your core fundamental essence. The identification with the ego, the persona that Travis is gone. You are just your base profound energy, the soul within you.
Travis smiled.
Melt away the ego.
Yes, melt away the ego, melting away all those layers that prevent us from experiencing the soul. And also melting as in ice melting into water. Ice is hard, it has a rigid structure. Water is soft and nimble. When we strip away the hard ego, the stubbornness of our memories and personalities, when we strip away all of that, we are left in the presence of the soul, in the grand presence of our soul, which is soft and placid.
Wow.
Yeah. Like anything in life, we gravitate to things we do a lot. The more exercise you do, the more it becomes a part of you, and the more you miss it.
So the same principle applies to spiritual practice?
Yes, the more you do it, the richer the experiences, and the more you want to do it. The more peaceful you become, the richer the meditation. Therefore, it's important to do the slowing of the mind exercises that we discussed earlier.
Well, I'm hoping all my stress melts away as I meditate.
We can tell our conscious mind, don't be anxious, but our subconscious mind won't listen. It will remain anxious.
That's true.
However, when we quiet the conscious mind, the subconscious mind automatically processes its fears, lowering the anxiety.
Well, that stress and anxiety must be embedded deeply.
Yes, they are. When we live with anxiety, fear, and greed for long periods, we become selfish, irate, and meaner. Meditation changes our nature, and it makes us nicer human beings.
Well, I certainly need to be nicer.
You will be, and let me share with you, another key phenomenon will happen.
What's that, my friend?
As you experience quietude consistently and have been doing it for some time, you'll find something's happening.
What things are those?
You could be in a meeting or driving or waiting in a line for pizza. Suddenly, a wave of peace will fill you.
Travis smiled like a toddler who had a sneak peek at a candy.
Just like that? Anywhere?
Yeah, it's involuntary. It will just happen. The inner quietude pervades you even when you're consumed with daily activities, as if it's a reminder to you of its presence.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is. We'll be in automatic meditation mode even though we're not sitting down for meditation. We could be in the middle of a loud concert with thousands of people and still feel the blissful silence within us.
I'm getting goosebumps, man.
Rishi caressed his left arm.
Me too. Meditation is the key to enter the spiritual dimension. We can come back to the material world and then transcend back into the spiritual realm. Once you have been exposed to the spiritual dimension, the material world begins to lose its hold on you. You don't take the material world as seriously as you did before. You acknowledge it, but you see the material world for what it is, a movie that is playing on the screen, which will end.
Rishi touched his shirt.
You watch the movie, you enjoy the movie, but if it's raining in the movie, you never check if your clothes are wet. You never forget the movie rain is an illusion.
And is that self-realization?
Being completely dissolved in the spiritual realm, becoming one with our soul, is self-realization.
Rishi glided his hand.
It's the ultimate yoga, the ultimate union. It's the way we connect with the infinite. It is the way we connect with God.
Travis bowed his head with palms touching, and so did Rishi.
I'm curious, my friend, when did you first meditate? How did it start for you? Did you have to practice?
I'll tell you all of it, Travis. But first, maybe move back inside.
Rishi pushed his chair back.
These patio chairs aren't the most comfortable.
No problem.
And they moved in. End of chapter 18. Meditation. Takeaways from this chapter. Do not be lonely. Be alone. Spend time with your own self. Meditation is the antidote to our problems in the short term and the key to ultimate happiness in the long term. Meditate every day like there is no tomorrow, and meditate without expectations. Meditate just for the sake of meditating. Meditation is not something you do. Meditation is something that happens to you.